TakeTones.com. TakeTones.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Chick Smooth, man. So I'm not gonna do what Joe Budden did and wait a whole hour and a half to tell you guys 2 minutes of information that you were looking for. All right, let's jump right into it. All right. So last Wednesday, there was no podcast. There was no Joe Budden podcast. The guys normally leave the fans with a little bit of information and say, hey, we're not going to be here next week. There's no episode. Don't look for it. That didn't happen. Wednesday came around. There was no podcast. So Saturday came around. Joe had the podcast with a whole new cast with Ice and Savon. And fans were like, yo, what's going on, man? Where's Rory and Mal? Enough fans tweeted Joe. I don't think Joe would have talked about it if fans didn't tweet him, say, yo, where's the guys? Did they leave the podcast? What's going on? So Joe said, yo, Wednesday, I'm going to address it all. All right, cool. Wednesday comes and Joe puts out this 3 hours of bullshit. Basically spent a good amount of the first hour and a half just dancing around it, man. Bro, Joe was looking like Adrian Bylon out there, man. The way he was dancing around this fucking topic. Basically all to say that, the guys are not there because Joe had a fight with Rory. They had issues. And we as fans, we notice these things, right? The last probably 6 to 8 episodes, it's been a little tension with Rory and Joe specifically. Fans were like, yo, like you guys might as well just fight. And Rory and Joe were challenging each other to fight during the pod. And apparently that was from real feelings, according to Joe. Joe said, no, like Rory really there was some tension between us. And that was being translated into the pod. That was some real stuff. Some people thought that Rory was joking. Some fans could see right through it and say, yo, nah, these guys have real issues. Because this was a whole probably 6 episodes straight of them just, I have hands. And it was just like, why are you, what are you guys talking about? Just fucking make jokes and talk about the pod. But no. Anyways, Joe said, he basically told Rory, just go chill out for a couple episodes. Go sit down for a little bit. Take some time off. I don't know what's going on with you and your relationship at home or other things. We all know Rory's going through some things, right? With his pops, with his relationship. So Joe felt the need to tell him to take a couple episodes off. Basically saying, yo, you need time off. It's like at work when your boss is like, bro, you've been sucking. You've been losing us money, bro. Go take a week off, right? Forcing you to take some time off. And Mal did not appreciate that, right? Joe said this. Joe said Mal was like, why are you the one to tell Rory to take time off? Because I think Mal had a different idea of what the podcast was. I think Joe's bullshit of, telling Mal, yo, this is all us, man. We all own this. This isn't me. But then he's like, wait, so if it's not you running this pod and it's us and we all get to make this decision, so why are you the one that has to enforce Rory to take some time off? So according to Joe and according to Parks, things got heated. And I'm sure it did. I'm sure Joe probably said some shit like, yo, I run this shit. And Ma was like, no, you don't. And Joe was like, yes, I do. I pay you. And, it probably got into some big boy, little boy talk. We all know Mal doesn't like when people try to big boy him. And Joe just loses control whenever he gets angry and just starts saying shit that he probably doesn't mean. But they had a fight. And now Joe is like, hey, the guys may come back in about a month or just a little bit. Listen, Joe, let's be honest here, man. All right. No one is going to tune in or you're going to lose fans and you're going to lose viewership. And I'm sure that you may be fine with that. That's fine. But we don't want to hear Savon and Ice. Savon has a podcast that all Joe Budden podcast knows about. There's a reason why Savon's pod doesn't do a fraction of what your pod does. We don't really want to hear Savon's thoughts on things. You guys, you're not really that close friends. Savon did not grow up with you during tough times. You met him on Twitter. So we don't want to hear his takes. And Ice, no one really knows Ice except for some people on Twitter. The pod is not going to do the numbers that you think it is, Joe. The pod is really, really boring without Rory and Mal. And people may feel otherwise. They may say, hey, I'm tired of hearing Mal and tired of hearing Rory. But truth is, those guys provided the balance that the podcast needed. They would joke on you. It would be jokes that we as fans would know, that kind of hit him hard. And that's what we enjoy. Savon and Ice, they're more so just yes mans. No one really cares about them. All right. Listen. And to Mal and Rory, I hope this lets you guys know where you guys stand. And I hope moving forward, you guys do get your business right. I had feelings that this would probably happen, especially when the podcast is named the Joe Budden Podcast. It's his name. So he's obviously going to be the one making all the decisions. And also, I don't know if you guys remember, this is probably 3 episodes back when Rory came in and said, I was at the See the Thing Is girls podcast and their shit looks better than ours. How come we don't have all this? We don't have a chef dicing up steak. We don't have a maid or somebody giving us pedicures. And if you look at it, he's like, these girls are not doing a fraction of the numbers that we're doing. Are you taking money from our pod and using it to pay for their pod? That was an issue that they thought about too. And I can understand why. But Joe cleared it up. He said, no, this was with my personal money, not with the podcast money. So it's a little bit of business, money, and power. Even though Joe tries to say, no, this has nothing to do with money. This has something to do with money because they're looking at numbers that you're turning down. Imagine you start something with somebody and they're constantly talking about how much money they turned down. Yeah, I just turned down 50 M's last week. Huh? You did, fam. I struggled to pay my rent this week and you're turning down millions of dollars? I think Joe has to realize eventually the pod is going to reach a plateau. It's going to reach a certain level where you're not going to have these high offers. And Rory and Mal are like, I haven't touched the kind of money that you have, Joe. Why don't we take one of these offers and just be good? We can still keep the pod going, but help us out. We helped you build this. So, to be honest, I'm siding with Rory and Mal. I don't think Joe should have just straight up said, take some time off. I think he should have just had a conversation with Rory and said, do you want to? Not just appointing someone to take time off, because then I think this has opened up their eyes and said, this is actually Joe's. This isn't ours. We're more for hired workers, which ties into what academics has been roasting Rory and Mal for, right? It's saying that these guys are hired workers for Joe. They don't own the podcast. And I think that kind of hit them and was a reality check for them to say, maybe this guy has been right all along, So, again, I don't know how it's going to be. But, again, Joe said in about a month. To be honest with you guys, if this goes on longer than a month, I really don't see the guys coming back. I think that they're just going to find other things, because it's like anything, right? If you go long enough, you can be like, wait, I don't need this. And they're going to see that, yo, the numbers are down without us. So we don't have to come back. But again, I hope they do come back. I hope Joe realizes that he needs to sort of take a step down. All I heard in this rant that was supposed to be about them and their issues was just Joe just talking about himself. Like he always does. It's always me as a rapper, me, what's happened to me and my past. No, bro, we want to hear about what you guys are currently going through. All right. Tell me what you guys think about this. Do you guys think Rory and Mal would be back? Is the podcast going to still be the same? Or are you guys still going to tune in over these next couple of weeks? Post comments below. Subscribe to my channel. Joe, please bring the guys back. All right. We don't want to hear Savon and Ice. Shout out to them, but we don't tune in for them. All right. Oh, man. I'll see you guys later, man.